From Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, welcome to Reds baseball. The Reds and the Phillies close out the 3-game series today, and of course a wrap-up to this 10-game road trip. Reds would like to win the rubber match of this series and also split the 10-game series right down the middle. As right-hander Bruce Perrine goes to the mound looking for, well, his second win of the season against Philadelphia and his third win of the season, and his mound opponent will be right-hander Nino Espinosa. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. If you're ready now, the starting lineups today for the Cincinnati Reds, leading off and playing center field, will be Dave Collins. Batting second, Ray Knight at third base. Hitting third, Ken Griffey in right field. Batting fourth, the left fielder, George Foster. Hitting fifth at first base, Dan Dreesen. Batting number 6 and playing shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Joe Nolan will catch and bat seventh. Hitting 8th, Ronnie Oster at second base. And batting 9th, the Reds pitcher, right-hander Bruce Perrine. Again for the Reds, it's Collins in center field, Knight at third base, Griffey in right field, Foster in left, Dreesen at first base, Concepcion at shortstop. Well, the bottom third again will have Nolan catching, Oster at second, and Perrine on the mound. For the Phillies, Lonnie Smith will lead off and play left field. Pete Rose will play first base and bat number 2. Greg Gross, the right fielder, hits third. Mike Schmidt will bat fourth and play third base. Hitting fifth at center field, Gary Maddox. Batting number 6, the second baseman, Manny Trio. Ramon Aviles again will be filling in for the injured Larry Boa. He'll be at shortstop and will bat 7th. Hitting 8th, the catcher, Bob Boone. And batting 9th, the Philadelphia pitcher, right-hander Nino Espinosa. Once more for the Phils, it's Smith in left field, Rose in first base, Gross in right field, Schmidt at third base, Maddox in center field, Trio at second. Aviles at shortstop, Boone catching, and Espinosa pitching. Collins settling into the batter's box. As a former New York Met, Nino Espinosa gets ready to go to work. Collins to lead it off, followed by Ray Knight, and then Ken Griffey. Collins there, Espinosa with a wind and the pitch, and Collins bluffs a bunt, takes it high for a ball, and this game is underway. Dave shut out last night by Steve Carlton, struck out twice, was 0 for 4 on the night. He swings and hits a one-bouncer to the glove side of Pete Rose, who makes a play and takes it to the bag for the putout. One out as Collins bounces to Rose at first base. That brings up Ray Knight. Ray picked up his 9th game-winning RBI of the season last night. His infield hit back of second in the 7th inning allowed Hector Cruz to score all the way from second base with the first run. And as it turned out, the only run that Mike Lacoste was to need, although the Reds added another one in the 8th inning. Knight batting .280. The pitch to him is over for a called strike. 10 home runs and a club-leading total of 61 runs batted in. Espinosa deals, and Knight swings and lines it foul past first and down the right field line. One bounce and back up into that picnic area they have. 0-2 on the Reds' third baseman, Knight. Defensively for the Phillies, they've got Rose, Trio, Aviles, and Schmidt at first, second, short, and third. And left, Smith, and center, Maddox, and right, Gross, and Bob Boone catching. The 0-2 pitch. Check swing. It's up high for a ball. Knight out, now back into the batter's box as Espinosa checks with his catcher. The big kick in the pitch. Knight swings and hits it in the air to shallow left field. Going out as a shortstop, Aviles now in left center, and he gathers it in for the second out of the inning. So with 2 down, nothing happening for the Reds right now. It'll be right fielder Ken Griffey. If you're driving in the downtown Cincinnati area this afternoon, stop by the Red Stadium ticket office and pick up your tickets for the homestand with the Padres and the Dodgers. It'll begin tomorrow night. Ticket office will be open this afternoon till 5:30. Griffey started in right field on Friday night, went 0 for 2, 0 for 3, had a walk, and was not in the lineup last night. Pitch is just high for ball 1. Collins has bounced to first. Knight has popped to short. Griffey hits one hard, but played by the second baseman Trio. On to Pete Rose and an easy first inning for Nino Espinosa and the Phillies. 3 up, 3 down after a half inning of baseball. The Reds nothing, and the Phillies are coming up. Swung on and pulled foul off first. Danny hitting .277, 11 home runs at RBI last night, his 50th of the season. Espinosa with a stretch in the pitch. Outside, the count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Game's underway now in the National League after 2.5, updating that San Diego Pirate first game. They're tied up at a run apiece. Atlanta gets nothing in the first at Montreal. Larry McWilliams against Charlie Lee. The starters have been posted at New York. Vern Rule against Mark Bombach as the Mets try to sweep the series. Rose playing behind Foster at first base. Dreesen swings and just gets a piece of it to bounce it foul behind the plate. In the American League, Seattle nothing in the first at Detroit. Rick Honeycutt against Roger Weaver. California 0 in the first at Toronto. Martinez against Clancy. Dreesen behind, a ball, 2 strikes, and the pitch hits him. Danny hit on the right shoulder. As Espinosa has one get away from him, Dreesen drops the bat and walks on down to first base as Foster moves to second. So the Reds have their first 2 men on in the inning on a hit and a hit batsman, bringing Dave Concepcion up. Espinosa set to work now to Concepcion, and the pitch taken away and high, ball 1. Foster at second, the tie-in run. Dreesen at first, the go-ahead run. Davey takes a strike on the outside, and it's 1-1 on the Red shortstop. Coming up next, catcher Joe Nolan. Pitch. Check swing. That's the ball. Just high. 2-1. Other American League games, Minnesota plays at Baltimore. The Orioles are hot. They won 9 of 11, but have not made much of a dent on that Yankee lead because New York continues to win. Run off 3 straight victories. Swung on and popped up behind first base. Rose backpedaling at the foul line. Foul territory. Makes the catch. So Dave Concepcion out on a foul pop to Pete Rose. That brings up Joe Nolan. Kansas City's at Chicago, New York at Milwaukee, and a night game in the American League. We'll have Boston at Texas. Joe hitting .301, 14 RBIs. He's homered twice. Number 17, catcher Joe Nolan. So Mr. Espinosa trying to pitch himself out of problems here after Foster singled to right. Dreesen was hit by a pitch. A third of the way home after getting Concepcion on the pop-up to Pete Rose. Nolan, who had a good one game in Cincinnati against Philadelphia, drove in 3 runs. Swings and hits one up the middle, and that's into center field for a base hit. George Foster comes on around third base and home with a tie-in run as Nolan hits Espinosa's first pitch on the ground into center field, and the Reds and the Phillies are all even at 1-1. Dreesen goes to second and holds there. That's the second base hit in the inning and brings up second baseman Ronnie Oster. Number 16, second baseman Ron Oster. Ronnie had a 6-game hitting streak stopped by Steve Carlton last night, but boy, over the last 7 games, 11 hits and 27 times up for a .407 average, and on the year batting .296. Pitch. Missing inside, a ball. Espinosa checks him and delivers. Oster fouls it away. Now, Ronnie, at least for the time being, the second baseman for John McNamara. Junior Kennedy was struggling badly at the plate. Put Ronnie in to give Junior a bit of a breather, and Oster's been swinging the bat so well that he's staying right in there day after day. Swung on a hard hit ball. Nice backhand play by Trio to Aviles to Rose, a double play. Good play by Manny Trio on a hard hit ball from Ronnie Oster that goes 4-6-3. The Reds get 1 run on 2 hits, no errors and 1 left, and after 1 1/2 innings of baseball, the Reds and the Phillies all tied up at a run apiece. So Nino Espinosa trying to make amends for the loss he suffered at the hands of the Reds in Cincinnati. And has pitched 5 strong innings in this game, and the Philly offense has taken advantage of a problem we have seen all too often this season, that old pitcher's bugaboo, the base on balls, is Bereni and Soto have issued 7 in the game, and 5 of those 7 have turned into runs for the Phillies. Here's a pitch to Ray Knight. Takes it low for a ball. Ray 0 for 2 has popped to short and has fly to deep left center field. Maddox making the catch in the 3rd inning. Swung on and hit into left field. That's going to be caught by Lonnie Smith. Nope. Did not catch it, says the second base umpire, Jerry Daly. Short hopped it, base hit for Knight. Well, the Reds have their lead man on. Ray Knight with a hit to left, bringing up Ken Griffey. Kenny has bounced to second and fly to left. Reds need a big inning like the Phillies had to jump back into this one. Now time call as a batting helmet, which they, of course, were giving away in abundance today, has fallen out of the seats in right field, and laying on the warning track, Greg Gross runs out to retrieve it. Espinosa asking for a new baseball from Jim Quick. Six hits for the Phillies, 4 for the Reds, but Philadelphia with 8 big runs. Stretching the pitch to Griffey. Too low, ball 1. Well, we've had some wild games in the past in this ballpark, boy. One club gets behind by a lot and comes storming back. There's a ground single into right field for Griffey. Ray Knight goes to second, turns the corner, and comes quickly back into the bag as Gross threw a strike to Manny Trio. So the first 2 are on, and the batter will be George Foster. Keith Moreland running down to the Philadelphia bullpen, and that might indicate some activity down that way. Ron Reed will start to throw. Foster 1 for 2, a run scored. Fly to left his last trip to the plate, or to center field in the 4th inning. Espinosa sights a sign, checks the runners, pitches to Foster. That's over for a strike. So if Espinosa is to falter, Dallas Green is not going to be caught short. He's going to have Ron Reed ready to come on. Missing outside with a breaking ball, outside and low, 1-1 to count. Foster calls time briefly, steps away. Hack single to left, Griffey single to right. Stretching the pitch. Blowing outside again, ball 2, 2-1. Bottom of the 8th at Pittsburgh, game 1. San Diego 5, Pittsburgh 2. Well, I'll tell you, the Pods are getting it done. They win that game, they will have run off 7 straight victories. Cubs are scoreless in the top of the 1st in the opening of 2 at San Francisco. Foster bounces to shortstop. Aviles goes to Trio. Quick turn to Rose, double play. Phillies turn their second of the game as Knight goes to third base, and the hitter will be Danny Dreesen. Well, that'll take you out of an inning. Danny's been on 2 times, and both times Espinosa's hitting with pitches. Ball 1. Call strike. Tigers and the Mariners 1-1 in the 6th inning. Toronto 1, California 0 in the 6th. 5th inning score from Baltimore, 4-1 Orioles over Minnesota. Here's a drive into right center field. That'll drop for a base hit, scoring Knight. And it's an 8-2 ball game. Danny Dreesen picks up his 51st run batted in with a 2-out hit. Inning continues for Dave Concepcion. Davies popped up and struck out. Oakland leading Cleveland 2-1 in the top of the 6th inning. Chicago up 2 on Kansas City after 3-1. And the Yankees and the Brewers are scoreless after 2 innings at Milwaukee County Stadium. Davey tries to bunt and fouls it at the plate. Ron Reed continues to throw in the Phillies bullpen. Red's got hits from Knight and Griffey to begin the inning. Foster hit into a 6-4-3 double play, and Dreesen's base hit scores Knight. Well, I'll tell you, Davey shot one off that fence in straightaway center off Carlton last night. That's too low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Checking Dreesen, the pitch. Check swing, strike call. 1-2. Indianapolis and Iowa playing today at Busch Stadium in Indy. Rick O'Keefe pitching for the Indians. 2-1 his record on the season. Bouncing ball to shortstop. Routine play for Aviles. He'll throw to second. Force out on Dreesen. Inning is over. Reds get 1 run, 3 hits, and leave 1. After 5.5, Phil's 8. Reds 2. The way things stand right now, the winner would be Espinosa. The loser would be Bereni. Swung on and fouled off. Collins behind 2 strikes. That Padre win over the Pirates, the first final score we've had to come in today. Reed looks to Bob Boone. Now Collins backs away from the plate as the big guy starts into his windup. Reed can pick up his 7th save of the year if he can finish this game. Collins takes it inside as the pitch spins him around. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Up high, 2-2. Collins has lost 7 points on his batting average during this series. Came in batting .294, hitting .287 right now. Looks that one all the way into the middle of Bob Boone, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ray Knight waiting on deck as Reed brings a payoff pitch to the plate. Collins with a high bouncer off the plate. They'll not have any play whatsoever on Collins as he streaks across first base with an infield single. He bounced that ball very high off the plate. And the Reds now have out-hit the Phillies 8-7. Here's Ray Knight, 1 for 3, led off the 6th inning with a hit to left and scored on a 2-out single by Danny Dreesen. Stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you and purchase your tickets in advance in Dayton at Reich's downtown and Columbus at all Central ticket locations, including area Sears stores, in Indianapolis at Ross and Babcock, in Lexington at Dawhares, and in Louisville at Dawhares in the mall. Knight trying to bunt, but fouls it back onto the screen. Collins takes the lead at first against a holding Del Unser. Ron Reed with a pause in the pitch. Knight swings, fly ball center field. Gary Maddox waiting. 1 out. Now Ken Griffey, who after being retired his first 2 times up, rammed a single into right in the last inning. Or in the 6th inning, rather. Montreal came up with 3 runs in the last half of the 5th inning and now lead the Atlanta Braves 5-3. Reed steps off the pitching rubber after coming set. 8-2 Philadelphia. We're in the top of the 8th. Griffey bluffs a bunt, takes a bat away, ball 1. Bob Boone turns and appeals to plate umpire Quick, who in turn looks to third base umpire Paul Runge, and Runge said nope, he didn't offer at it. That'll be ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Cubs have jumped out in front of the Giants 2-0 after an inning and a half. Here's a high pop-up off of third base. Coming over is John Bukovic, and at the railing he will have it and then lose it, and goes tumbling over the railing and into the box seats. John had it in his glove and then lost it as he went head over heels into the seats. Probably be no play on that ball. The Reds began play today only 2.5 games in front of the 4th place San Francisco Giants, who have an opportunity now to pick up some ground if they can play well and win them against the Chicago Cubs. But the Cubs have the early lead, as we mentioned in game number 1. Collins is going, and Griffey pops it up. Coming over to the seats again is Bukovic, and he's got a room on this one and makes the catch for the second out. Griffey becomes the second out of the inning as he pops up foul of the Phil's third baseman, and here's George Foster. Foster has singled, flied out, and hit into a 6-4-3 double play. So Reed, after giving up the infield hit to Collins, retires the next 2. Foster, he gets out in front on with a called strike. Warren Brewster has now started to throw for Philadelphia. He's a right-hander. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Foster behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Reed checking and pitching, and that's too low for a ball. Boone knocks it down in front of him. Ball actually in the dirt. Well, the Phillies are closing in on Cincinnati's league lead in runs scored. 2 clubs running, 1 and 2. Collins on the move. Foster fouls it back. Started a day off. The Reds with 470 runs, more than any other club in the league. The Phillies second at 459. Right now, the Reds with 472 and Philadelphia with 467. They share the league lead in team batting average with the St. Louis Cardinals, each club batting 270. Foster grounds one into right field for a base hit. Collins goes to second as Gross makes a pickup. So an opposite field base hit to Foster, his second of the game. Means that Danny Dreesen will be coming up with 2 men on and 2 men out. Dreesen has been hit by a pitch twice, and his hit in the 6th inning drove in a run. That base hit his last time up extended Danny's hitting streak to 8 straight games. Ball to him. Stretching the pitch. Swung on, foul to the screen. Count evens on the Reds' first baseman at 1 ball and 1 strike. Reed gave up a hit in the last inning. His first 2 hits here in this inning so far has shut the Reds out. Misses with a fastball to Danny, 2-1. Kind of surprising, not much of a reaction to the Padre win over the Pirates that they put on the board out in right center field here. That's just tied. 3 balls, 1 strike. Junior Kennedy is on deck to pinch hit. Three-1 coming. Dreesen takes a strike at the knees, and that runs it out. Full at 3-2. Collins and Foster will be on the move as Ron Reed checks in with Bob Boone and throws 3-2 to Danny Dreesen. Here it is. And a ground ball, base hit down the right field line. That ball will go into the corner. That's going to score a couple of runs. Collins scores. Here comes Foster to the plate. A 2-base hit for Danny Dreesen to drive in 2, and the Reds now trail 8-4. So Danny with 3 RBIs in the game. Junior Kennedy will bat now for Dave Concepcion. I can't imagine what might be wrong with David unless that elbow is bothering him to the degree that he has to be taken out of the game. Kennedy batting .263. He takes it low for a ball. Well, the Reds trail by 4 runs thanks to Dreesen's double. Kennedy with a half-swing strike. He got around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dreesen now with 53 RBIs. Check swing. It's high and inside. 2-1. Danny with a good series in terms of run production with an RBI last night. Driving in 4 runs here against Philly pitching. And 13 on the year against this club. He's been our most productive hitter against them. Very high fly ball. Back of first base, over Delunter near the stands. Now pulls up short and makes the catch. In the 8th for the Reds, 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left. After 7.5, the Phillies lead the Reds 8-4. Now Joe looking for his 3rd hit. And Reed delivers to the plate, and Joe swings and lines one into left field for base hit number 3 of the game, backhanded by Lonnie Smith. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, we've said it so many times since Joe Nolan put on the Cincinnati uniform, but what a job he has done. Figures to catch probably the 2nd game of the doubleheader tomorrow night when they throw the right-hander John D'Acquisto on the mound. Here's Ronnie Oster. He fouls it back. Harry Spillman, as expected, will be the pinch hitter for Dave Tomlin. Reds have out-hit the Phillies 11-7, which again points up how awfully difficult it is when your pitchers are walking people. Ground ball first, up with an uncher, on to shortstop, back to first, not in time. 3-6 on the outplay at second of Nolan. Delunter to Ramon Aviles, who really unloaded in a hurry, but Ronnie Oster running hard all the way, beat the throw. Now Harry Spillman to pinch hit for Tomlin. Harry batting .274, 3 homers and 12 RBIs. He's homered 1 time earlier on this road trip at Shea last weekend. Oster hit the ball hard, but right at Unser. 1 man out, 1 man on. Spillman grounds to second base. Trio, Aviles, Unser, double play. That's the game. 9th inning for Cincinnati. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left on. Phillies win the rubber match and taking 2 out of 3. Capitalizing on wildness by the pitchers to win at 8-4. We'll be back in just a moment. Reds and the Phillies hooked up for the final time in 1980 today, and the Philadelphia Phillies come out with an 8-4 victory as they pick up only their 5th win in the 12-game seasonal series against John McNamara's club. And they got the scoring underway in the very first inning when Bruce Bereni, I guess, gave pretty much an indication of things to come for him. He was consistently behind the hitters in the opening inning, and that, in the end result, was a thing that proved to be his undoing. He opened the inning by walking Lonnie Smith, who stole second base and advanced to third on a ground out by Pete Rose to second, and Greg Gross drove Smith home with a double down the left field line. Phillies led 1-0. The Reds tied it up in the second on a single by Foster. Dreesen was hit by a pitch. 1 out later, Joe Nolan had the first of a 3-hit afternoon for the Reds catcher as he singled to center field, driving Foster in to tie the game up at 1-1. Phillies broke the tie and 1 out in front to stay in the third with 1 down. Lonnie Smith again. This time he had a base hit to right, had his second stolen base of the game, and Pete Rose then singled into center field with Smith scoring to make it 2-1 Philadelphia. The Phillies drove Bereni off the mound in the 5th inning when they had that 6-run frame, and guess what? Lonnie Smith led it off with a bunt single, stole second, scored on a single by Pete Rose to make it 3-1. Rose stole second base. Greg Gross and Mike Schmidt then drew back-to-back walks. That was it for Bereni. On came Mario Soto with the bases loaded, nobody out and a run in. Gary Maddox hit a 1-2 pitch that Foster caught on the warning track in left field for a sacrifice fly, 4-1. The other runners advanced. Trio got an intentional walk. Soto walked Aviles to force in another run, 5-1. And Bob Boone drove a double into the left field corner, scoring 3. And rounding out the scoring in that frame, and the Phillies had built up a lead of some 8-1. Cincinnati scored a run in the 6th inning on singles by Knight and Griffey, and a 2-out base hit by Danny Dreesen. And then Dreesen drove in the final runs in the game in the 8th inning, following an infield hit by Collins and a 2-out hit by Foster with a double down the right field line, sending both runners home and making the final score 8-4 Philadelphia. Nino Espinosa went the first 6 innings to pick up his second win in 4 decisions. Ron Reed went the final third to record his 7th save, and Bereni, the loser, his record now at 2-2. The Phillies had 8 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 8 left. The Reds 4 runs, 11 hits with an error, and they stranded 5. So the Reds able to win only 4 of the 10 games on this road trip after winning 3 of the first 4, and they now head on home to begin a big 7-game homestand that will start off with a 5:30 twilight doubleheader tomorrow night against the San Diego Padres. Tom Seaver is scheduled to open the first game for the Reds against left-hander Randy Jones. The nightcap will have Joe Price, a Reds lefty, against right-hander John D'Acquisto. Plenty of seats available. We'll be on the air with the pregame shows late tomorrow afternoon, beginning at 5 o'clock Cincinnati time. Once again, the final score today in a game that took 2 hours and 28 minutes to play before a crowd of 41,328. The Phillies 8 and the Reds 4.